Hey guys, Brian back with another project video, and today I'm going to show you how we installed this ceiling fan in a room that never had one in the first place. So stick around and I'll show you how we did it in another episode of Home Projects. So the first step in this project is to find the center of the room. Measure the width and the length, divide it by half, and then I sink a screw right in the center of the room, and this helps me locate it above when I'm up in the attic. It's hard enough to find the place just measuring to find the right joist bay, but having a screw stick through the sheetrock really helps you locate the hole. So the next thing we're going to do is turn off the breakers to the room and make sure that the room is fully de-energized so we're not working with live circuits. It's very dangerous to do so, and it only takes a second to turn off the breaker to the loads you're working on. I'm using a non-contact voltage meter so that I can confirm that it not only turn off the breaker, but I can confirm that there's no power at the source that I'm working on. You should keep this in your tool belt so you can always check circuits as you're working on it, and not only one time but multiple times to make sure you don't make any mistakes and everything is always off. So you can see it's flashing there as a status light, but it's not live. So now I'm unscrewing this existing light switch for the closet because I'm going to be replacing this 1 gang box with a 2, and I need to pull these wires out of the box and straighten them out, pull it out in order to put this 2 gang box in and pull the other cables that I need into it. So the next step is to lay out the lines for the cutout for the 2 gang box that I'm using the edge of the boxes to lay down some straight lines. And I'm going to use a jab saw to cut it out, holding the cable back to make sure I don't hit it by accident or anything else that might be in the wall. Again, all these wires are dead even though they're exposed, and I'm not working any live wires. Quick test fit before I go back and pull cables through this just to make sure we're all good and everything looks great. So now up into the attic space, which is my probably least desirable place in my house to be. It's super hot, there's no structure to walk around on other than the joists, and I've got to bring up boards to not fall through the ceiling. It's mostly unfaced insulation, so it's not the greatest place to be, but this is what we got to do. I minimize my time up here and pulling cables and making a plan ahead of time in my head so that I don't have to think about so much up in the attic. I've already been up here before, so I was aware of an extra junction box that somebody ran a spare circuit to, which is this nominal 120 circuit that I tapped into. And next, just to get a general idea of which joist bay that screw should be in, I just took a measurement, remembering what I'd measured on the inside of that room, so that I could at least plant myself in the right joist bay for finding that screw in that center location to run the cables to. So here I am just climbing over to that joist bay. I've located it, it's underneath this insulation, and there's my screw. And this is the advantage of putting a screw through it so you can easily find it once you get a measurement to the right bay. So now what I need to do is start running cables over to this location. I need to run a feed to the wall switch, and I also need to run a jumper cable from there to bring power over to the fan, which gives the control. I've just put a screw here on the joist and I can hang my light. And now we can start pushing cables through. I have an existing hole that's oversized that I ran to the other light switch that was there. And what I need to do is just start snaking cables over there. So after feeding the first cable through, I climb back downstairs. This is a lot easier if you have a helper, obviously. And I start pulling the cables through the wall one by one. I'll bundle them off to differentiate them, and then I'll mark them later. So now that I've pulled enough cables through the wall, I can come back up and then measure just a rough distance from there to the junction box and cut that off and then feed the next cable. And I'll staple these off after. With the cable pulled through the box and cut the length, I've now stripped the wires and I'm just making the connections. So now I'm going to install the box, which is a side mount box. I'm going to pull out one of the knockouts and put a strain relief grommet for the Romex cable through the box. Cutting back to the joist, I located it and basically made a cutout right next to the joist, perfect for a side mount box. Fitting it in place, I don't want to be too snug or too loose. There's a just nice fit for it. And once that's in place, I can go back above, mark the bracket, and screw it in place with some lag screws. These are number 10 screws that come with the box itself, which makes pretty stout install. And once this box is in place, I'm all done up in the attic. I can put the insulation back in place, close the hatch, and now I'm best back in the room. So here I am putting the box in place. I'm screwing to the bracket that's screwed to the joist. I'm stripping the cable back and pulling the conductors out and stripping those out and getting them ready for termination. So here's the fan that the boss picked out. We're going to get ready to install the bracket. The bracket goes basically on the ceiling box and you slip the Romex wires through it. It screws right to the box. That's their nominal screw pattern. It has a rubber pad in the back to minimize the knocking from vibrations of this fan, I suspect. It's a pretty nice stout bracket that you put on there. Next goes on the stem, and this goes in the flange of the motor, and it's held in place with a clevis pin and a cotter pin, which locks it in place. And then there's two set screws on either side that you lock down. They're on opposing sides, so it's a pretty good setup. The pin holds it in place so it's never going to drop, and then the set screws lock it down, and then it's ready to go on the ceiling. Stripping back the wires now and setting up the connectors. It makes it a lot easier when you're going up in the ceiling, you're holding something over your head. If you have everything prepped and you just insert and connect. I'm using Wago splicing connectors. These are the lever nut type. They're super robust. They're well overrated for what this is needed. I think they're like 30 amps. This is only a half amp fan at max. And they work for stranded and solid wire. I love these. I've used these in industry for years. They're just not your typical wire nuts that electricians like to use. I never had an issue with them if you make a sound connection, and they're great if you ever need to pull stuff off in a pinch with one hand. So I like them a lot. Once the cover plate is screwed in place with this little side wrench, there's a little scutcheon plate that fits in, snaps in place to hide those screws, and they're all set and we're ready to put the blades on. The blades are pretty snapped. They go on together with these rubber washers, slip right into place and click, and then you just screw them together. And then you take each of these blades and you screw them with two fastening screws into the ceiling bracket of the ceiling fan. It's pretty straightforward. There's an open space to put each blade, and then you rotate them around and then keep adding. You basically repeat multiple times. The last steps are pretty straightforward. I'm putting 60 watt equivalent LED lights that are dimmable in place, put this base bowl in place with the lock nut, set up the pull chains, This is going to have an independent speed controller on the wall in this box here that you see for both independent light and fan speed control for the 3-speed, so that those pull chains aren't needed. I'm going to pull them out just so people don't get confused that are staying in our house. So now I'm pulling the cables through the box. I've labeled them. I've identified and labeled the cables so that I know which one's the feed and which one goes to the fan. Once the Romex is pulled through and I'm happy with how it's fit up, I put the box in place. I screw it in place with an electric drill. I don't drive these all the way down. You should make a habit of, if you're saving time with these, is just to drive them down partially, and then the rest of the way use a screwdriver so you don't break the plastic clips that hold this thing in place. I clip the wires to length, strip the wires out, and just make all the connections. So I first put the light switch back in place, made the wiring connections, wrapped it, and now I'm just looking at the connections for the dimmer. In particular, this is a Lutron switch. Made those connections pretty straightforward. It's basically fan, light, and your feed, and the neutral is just passed through and connected. And then we put their plate back on. And now we're ready to test our new fan. Power's now back on. I turned the circuit breaker back on, and here we go. Let there be light. If you don't have whole house AC, or you just want to save on your energy bill, you should look to ceiling fans. They do a good job at air circulation and keep you cool without running ACs all the time and a loud window air conditioner. Hopefully you guys found this video informative, and if you liked it, please hit like on the bottom, and if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing for more cool projects like this. After being covered in fiberglass and sweating 100+ heat in my attic, it's time for a cold beer and a hot shower. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care now.